I came to faith when I was about 20, 21. And reflecting back on my life, particularly through high school, I think the biggest thing that I was acting and doing back then was trying to answer the question, who am I? Even though I didn't really realize it at the time, that was kind of what I was searching for. Who am I? And at the time, who I was basically what my friends thought of me. And that was good at times, that was bad at times. Looking back, I was trying to answer that question, who am I? And that was centered around whatever my friends thought about me. And that kind of made me go on a seesaw of feeling really good, and then also feeling really bad, feeling like a loser. And I had a really close circle of friends, and we'd do everything together. We'd surf together, we'd play sport together, we'd go to music festivals together, we'd travel everywhere together, had some amazing times. But really what was driving me was that question, who am I? And that played itself out in me experimenting with drugs, alcohol, sex, doing things that in and of themselves may not be bad, but were being used in an unhealthy way. In that group of friends, there was two of them who did have a faith in Christ, and they started a midweek Bible study at our friend's cafe, at their parents' cafe. And really, I didn't really care much for religion or faith in God, but because a bunch of my mates were meeting midweek somewhere at a cool place, I wanted to be a part of it. And so we started meeting up, and this took about 2 years of meeting together. And during that time, we asked really deep questions. Who are we? Who is God? Why are we here? What's the purpose for life? We also opened the Bible and looked at different passages. We looked at different world religions. We looked at Jesus and if he was actually real, and if he's actually historically accurate. And during that process, it got to a point after about 2 years where 3 or 4 of us really felt, you know what, we either have to walk away from this or say, you know what, Jesus is who he says he is. And then we started that journey and we said yes, and that was kind of the turning point. Yeah, so I think the biggest change was that question, who am I? And even though I'm still kind of on that seesaw, you know, I still go back to defining myself by what other people think of me, and sometimes do some stupid things. Who I am is defined by who I am in Christ. I'm a new creation in Christ. I'm a temple of God's Spirit. I'm an heir to the throne. I'm God's son. And I'm able to participate and partner in what God's doing in the world. And they might be words that, you know, may not have much meaning, but when I keep coming back to them through faith in Jesus, it actually, I feel, changes who I am. It changes how I look at the world, how I look at myself. And looking back now, when I've been doing it for about 7 or 8 years now, I can see that actually God has actually used me in ways that I didn't even realize. The book of Habakkuk starts off with the prophet saying, where the heck are you, God? I know what you say, I know who you say you are, but I don't really believe it. I don't feel like you're here. I don't get it. And it ends with actually Habakkuk singing a praise song to God. And something happens in between that start of the book and the end. And you probably have to read it to figure it out. But it really speaks to me that if God is really who he says he is, which I believe, then he can handle our questions, our doubts, our frustrations, no matter how wrong we might think they are, or no matter how bad we may think they are. If God is God, he's big enough to handle it. And I see that in the book of Habakkuk, and I relate that to my own life. I have many doubts and many questions and many struggles, but I keep turning them back to God, and through he keeps coming through and proving that he is God, and that my identity is in Christ, and that he wants to use me.